Hey, Lucifer here. There have been some updates regarding the whole Korea thing. Basically, the U.S. is sending an additional 800 troops and 40 tanks to the to South Korea, where they have multiple sort of military bases and troops and the like. I'm sure you will remember the 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 rising in tension as North Korea, the brutal dictators who rule North Korea came forth and threatened the rest of the world with nuclear weapons for no reason other than they're mad. Of course, if you've actually been paying any attention, you'll see that America was carrying out bombing drills along the border, joint bombing drills with South Korea, with military capable, I think it was B-52s or something, as well as stealth bombers. And that's basically why North Korea got so pissed off, because they've been at odds with South Korea for as long as anyone can remember. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that. And usually I'm the one being told because I'm outright retarded. But shit's going down again. Now the U.S. is strengthening its force there. If you thought this was over, if you thought that that North Korea came out, threatened everyone, and then just sort of shrank back into their hole, after a bunch of humiliating memes. Yeah, let's humiliate North Korea, guys. They don't know what they're doing. They were feeling threatened, okay? um, but yeah, the RT are calling this sort of part of their. Calling it part of America's pivot towards Asia, and I suppose it's right. They've sort of been encircling China for a while now. They've got a base. I think they established a base in Australia recently. But it really isn't over. Okay, but back then, you had plenty of people like me, sort of truth sayers. You call us doomsayers and fearmongers. But yeah, go fuck yourself. We're not fear mongering for what are the usual justifications? Money, or for a laugh. This is a lot of us were actually convinced it was going to go down. Then, obviously, North Korea doesn't have the real capability to threaten the rest of the world. I mean, as far as we know, they have something like 4 nuclear devices, I think it was, and they really can't cause that much damage. Worst, they'd increase aggression towards South Korea. But apart from that, they're not this sort of dictatorship on the rise that some people are painting them as. Some guys on poll, and yes, I know I'm talking about poll. I'm just such a faggot now. Some guys on poll were on about how he's a new Hitler and he's gonna rise up and start beating South Korea to a pulp. I doubt it. There's tension along the border, certainly, but I don't think it'll come to that. Where was I going with that anyway? I'm sorry, these videos are so shit. Yeah, if you think it's over, then well, it's far from over, pretty much. The U.S. is going to keep doing this. They're going to keep increasing their forces, and they're going to keep poking the bear. The bear. What is North Korea now? Russia's the bear, okay, motherfucker. Just remember that. I don't know. They're just going to keep. For the sake of a metaphor, we'll keep calling it the bear. They'll keep poking the bear with the stick, the bear of North Korea, the mighty and handsome Kim Jong Un with a stick, until he does something and they have a reason to invade. Okay, this is all part of their pivot. And some of you might ask why America would want to get into North Korea. As far as we're concerned, they don't have that much oil. They're pretty dry, actually, bone dry out there. I mean, an intervention by the U.S., all it'd take really is a 2-week bombing run, and or 2 weeks of bombing runs. Not that I support that. And North Korea could just get easily beaten to a bloody pulp. But if you want a reason for as to why they do that, all you've got to do is look at where North Korea is on a map. They're right on the border with China, and if they could get a hold of ground up in North Korea, which obviously the current regime wouldn't allow them to. They're pretty closed borders, pretty closed off. Well, then they'd have bases directly on the border with China, and their pivot to Asia, so-called pivot to Asia. I'm going to start calling it a pivot to China, though, because that's what it really is. It'd pretty much be complete, and the U.S. would have a significant advantage. It's all to do with money and oil and the like. If you want to go deeper, I might do that in another video. Not that I explain these things really well. You probably need like Google Translate to understand this. But yeah, loads of signs point towards America wanting to get into North Korea. Really, they're not being so active about it right now. What with the whole Syria thing blowing over? Well, not blowing over, not quite yet, anyway. And a whole bunch of new controversies with the NSA and the like. They don't want to, ruffle too many feathers right now. And they've ruffled a shitload of feathers. They've ruffled mine, and God knows my wrath. God, the Lucifer slap down. Furthermore, actually, look at the propaganda they've been putting out against North Korea now. There was this whole story about how Kim Jong Un is this mad dictator and he's had his uncle executed by dogs. Look at the monster! Everyone look, he eats babies. Yeah, no, that story is a complete falsification. As it turns out, that story came from like a Chinese. We first heard it from like some humorous Chinese news article or something. I believe the story was, and then all of the Western. We're not in Star Trek, damn it. All of the Western media sort of outlets started capitalizing on how Kim Jong Un had him fed to 120 dogs. I think, if you believe that for a second, come on now. No, he's not. Okay, propaganda's in full swing. The U.S. is increasing its forces in South Korea. Expect to see North Korea be relatively silent over the next few months. They'll try not to do anything stupid, but the U.S. will keep pushing and pushing to try and make them do something stupid. It's all very tense on that front right now.